Welcome to Gentle Restorative this morning. My name is Sandra, and as you get comfortable in a seated position, I want you to close your eyes and just nestle into your space for a moment. Take a deep inhale through the nose, cleansing exhale. Perfect. Another deep inhale through the nose. Let it go loudly. And then inhale, take the arms up above you, bringing the palms together so that you can exhale the hands in prayer pose, back home to the heart. Now pause here to set the most fabulous intention for yourself, and perhaps you include anybody else in your intention that needs some good energy today. When you're ready, release the hands. Slowly draw the shoulders up toward the ears and enjoy taking them back and down. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Perfect. And then bring the hands right to the ground in front of you and peacefully walk your way into a fold this morning. So the theme for today actually comes from something I was reading in my career counseling class. Jennifer Del Corso was writing about the trauma that can be created when somebody unexpectedly loses a job. So the article was really written about helping somebody deal with that kind of grief and helping them move forward. But in her analogy, which I thought was so fabulous, it just read yoga all over it, but it also totally applies to this, again, I refer to it as this weird external environmental situation that is going on in our world. And so this might relate to you on numerous points, which I think is kind of exciting. Go ahead, make your way back up. Take the right hand behind you. Let's just inhale, length. Exhale, that twist to the right. So what she was explaining was when somebody loses a job unexpectedly, there are many stages that soon follow, right? They're kind of like the grieving stages. And unfortunately, many people right now are probably in that position or looking to be in that position as, businesses stay closed. Go ahead, release the twist. Switch the arms. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, take it to the left. And so perhaps something I say, piques your interest as far as your job is concerned, but my intention primarily was that this theme was such a yoga theme. It's more about what's going on in our world, perhaps if you're still in a lockdown situation and all the feelings that are arising from that, and these stages of progression. Maybe you can identify where you are at, and then there's hope that there's some other stages following that might be better, right? Go ahead, release that twist. Let's take the legs open in a V, Upavista Konasana. Let's just stretch out a little bit this morning. Wiggle, get in front of the sit bones, and then open up the arms, add some movement here. Maybe you can get a little lower the next time you come around. So breathe into the tight spots. Maybe you can wiggle them out a little. You could, alternate bending the knees, loosen up the legs, flex the feet, then point them, stretch out the toes, whatever it takes. And then we'll work our way back up. Perfect. Go ahead and sit up tall, turn towards that right leg, and slowly lower your way down. So this analogy that Jennifer was talking about in her book, she calls it the Key West analogy. And the premise is that we collectively, all of us, one big family, we've all planned a trip to go to Key West. And we've planned it for a long time, right? We have put a lot of energy into planning this. We're all super excited about it. And the day has finally come. Go ahead, walk your way back up. Sit up tall as you make that turn toward the left leg, and then meander on down. And so we've packed up the car. We have everything we could possibly need. Everybody is super excited. And just for a moment, pause and think about some of the family trips you've taken and feel that heightened energy. You know, if you have kids, imagine their reactions. Everybody's different. You know, some are quiet, some are animated, you know, but everybody has their own way of being like, yes, this is the day, right? Go ahead, slowly make your way back up from here. Let's take the legs into cobbler. If you need your blocks or something underneath the knees, go ahead and grab them. And then let's sit up tall and hinge forward into a fold right here. So we've all just gotten into this huge SUV to fit all of us. And one of us pulls up the weather app. And it says that there is a hurricane coming, and it is exactly in the path that we plan to take to get to Key West. So the first stage is disbelief, right? You have got to be kidding me. Go ahead, make your way back up. That can't be true. So then, right, you close that weather app and you open about 3 more. You want to compare notes, right? Okay, go ahead, come on down onto your back for a second. Well, more than a second. We're going to hug the knees in. Will you have a block nearby or something that you can use to put underneath the hips in a moment? Couple of deep breaths here. Each exhale, pull the thighs in towards you just a little bit more. Let's deepen the breath. As you inhale, you're softening the grip on the legs. As you exhale, you're really pulling those legs in. You can feel them helping push the air out of the low lungs. One more time. And then we're going to go ahead and set the feet down hip distance apart. Grab whatever prop you have. We're coming into supported bridge, so I'm going to lift the hips, slide the block underneath the sacrum. As always, you're making a lot of choices here on your mat, so you decide, you know, at what height you want that block. If you're intending to go to the highest height on the block, I would just ask you to kind of consider and remember it's a restorative class, and why is it you want to go there? But if it feels best for you, that's totally fair. We're going to close our eyes and just hang out here for a moment while I continue with my story. So I'm sure you can relate, right? We've all had that where we're like looking at the weather app and that can't be. So you open up another one because for sure the first one is not accurate. And then maybe you open up the 4th one because the first 3 couldn't have been accurate. But no, we have now determined that all of our weather apps are telling us there's a huge hurricane directly in our path. So when disbelief creeps in, we start to question things like, okay, well, maybe I can drive around it. Or maybe the hurricane is going to dissipate by the time I get to that point of my destination. Or, you know, maybe it will pass. Maybe it won't hit our car, right? And so we throw all these ideas out there. And just for a moment, imagine, right? We're all in this car and we're all throwing out different suggestions that are based in, well, not necessarily reality, right? So disbelief. And that's the same premise with somebody who suddenly loses their job. You didn't see it coming. There's disbelief. Or, you know, if you're a fan of Survivor, the people who get blindsided, right? Total disbelief. When this thing that hit our external world came upon us, there had to have been unbelievable disbelief from everybody, right? I don't know. I kept saying, I feel like I'm trapped in some horror movie, and I don't watch horror movies, so not thinking it's the best place I've been before, but as such. So we all go through levels of disbelief, right? Okay, I'm going to come back to my QS story. Go ahead, find your balance on whatever you're propped up on, and let's draw the knees up in towards the heart. If you're on a block, what you might notice is that as the hips tip forward, the low back has room to sink, which should feel really good. Plus, I can feel the edge of the block kind of digging into my sacrum. And so if you want to rock back and forth, it's a pretty good massage, since we can't go out and do that either. Okay, go ahead. Send the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Let's call this option A. Option B, I'm going to let my right leg come forward as I slowly lower my left leg, and to where you lower it depends on your core, on your low back. I don't want you to go so far that all of a sudden there's this huge arch in the back because you're trying to hold the leg in place. We're going to slowly switch. Each time the legs get to their final destination, push through the heels and the soles of the feet. Really lengthen out. Okay, switch. Lengthen. And switch. Perfect. And then let's slowly bend both knees, bring them back in towards the heart. And then set one foot down on the mat first, and then the other. Lift the hips up, slide whatever you have underneath you out from underneath you. And then roll to a side in a fetal position. With your eyes closed, deep inhale. Happy cleansing exhale. And then gently push your way up. So you could be relating to this story in a totally different way. You know, disbelief can come about with pretty much any occurrence. So if you're relating to it in another way, I want you still to apply some of this story and just see how it might benefit you. We're coming on over into table. So from here, I just want you to move. And then when you're ready to come back to center, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog, walk it out. Couple more breaths here. ready, come on back down into table. Sit back. If you want props for child's pose, go ahead and grab them. Otherwise, open up the knees, soften the heart and head down. So sending the breath into the back space. So part of what happens in this disbelief stage is that we we lose this feeling that we have control over our life. Does that sound familiar? And we also lose this sense that everything is going to confidently move forward, be okay, right? Maybe part of you knows that, but the other part's fighting with that, right? The head and the heart sometimes have different opinions on things. So just kind of seeing if, this is a place where you're at. And now we know that if we're in a disbelief stage, what we need to work on is building that confidence level back up, building up the root chakra, that sense of security that it's going to be okay, right? Losing a job is totally a root chakra imbalance. It goes straight to your foundation of security and safety, as does this weird thing going on outside. So root chakras probably do need some help right now. The root chakra's color is red or black, so you could always, after this class, run into your closet and change into a red or black shirt if you want to help that root chakra out a little bit. It's a very earthy element, so staying down on the ground like you are in child's pose is also a fabulous tool to rebalance that center. I'm sorry, you're in a restorative class, you're in child's pose, and I am extremely chatty this morning, so you're either going to have to bear with me or tune me out a little. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. That's because, being locked in the house, my family's tired of listening to me. The dogs seem to be as well. All right, we're going to come on up into table. And then from here, I want to come down onto my forearms. I'm going to take this to cow pose. So slide the shoulder blades in, sink the belly. And then I'm going to exhale, round this out into cat. Inhale, slowly drop the heart center, lift the chin. Exhale, round it out. Let's do that 3 more times. Follow your breath. When you finish that last one, bring the spine back to a neutral position. And then from here, I'm just going to stretch my arms out and soften the forehead down to the earth. You'll be in half dog or puppy. Let's see if you can take your focus to the space between your shoulder blades, and then can you widen out that space? So roll the shoulders outward. And then when you're ready, go ahead and walk your way back up into table. So have some prop off on your right side. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just going to grab my blanket and slide it up here over here. This might also seem like a little bit unusual. So I also want you to check to your left side. I don't have a lot of room on my left side because of the wall primarily. So I'm going to come to the right edge of my mat so I have more room on that side. If you're facing that same situation in your house, scooch to the right side or right edge of the mat. If you have all the room in the world, you're fine right where you are. So I want to take the right leg. I want to stretch it out behind me, tuck the toes, push into that heel. Let's get a good calf stretch first. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to bring the support back over the left knee. I'm going to rotate the back foot so the inner edge is on the mat. That's going to open up my right hip. And you know, we've done this part before. So the right hand, fingertips can stay on the ground, option A. They can go to the hip, option B. We only have one right arm. The arm can reach straight up to the ceiling, option C, or you can take that arm behind you to open up the shoulder, option D. Doesn't matter which one you choose, as long as you're happy. Breathe. You can change it up too. Okay, why did we need all that room behind us? So as the right arm comes down, I want my fingertips to touch the ground before I do anything else. I'm going to sit backwards. Just sit back. You can bend that top knee. Sit back, re-stretch that top leg out, and we're coming into a fold off to the left side of the left thigh. That's why I want you to have a prop nearby so you could draw it over and lean on it. Close your eyes. Sending the breath to the left hip, left glute, left whatever, wherever you feel this, if you are feeling it. See if you can slow the breath down a little bit more by elongating it. And then we'll get back to our story. We have to figure out if we end up in Key West or not, don't we? Okay, slow, deep inhale. As you exhale, gently push your way back up. I'm just going to move my prop out of my way and find your way back to table, however is easiest for you. Now I'm going to have to turn around in the other direction because I still won't have room, so bear with me. Perfect. Move your prop to your left side. Send that left leg back, tuck the toes, gently push into that heel, and breathe. As you release that pressure, you'll bring the weight back into the right knee. Pivot the back foot so the inner edge finds the earth, and then decide what the left hand is going to do. Remember, option A was fingers on the ground, option B to the hip, option C to the sky, option D behind the low back. So if you don't have a lot of room and you're like me who forgot to come onto the left side of the mat, we're going to have to make a little move when we bring that left arm down. So just be conscious of your space. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly bring the left hand back down. You have to shift over a little bit here. And then gently sit back. Straighten out that left leg. Come into a fold off to your right side. Grab that prop if you want it. Okay, so imagine we're in the car, we're stopped, we're pulled over, we really didn't get out of the driveway perhaps. We are all really upset that our plans have been thwarted. And so what settles in next are different versions of anger, depression, sadness, right? You know, again, go back to your own family. Can you imagine? Like, I know my kids would have different reactions. And I know my reaction would look different than theirs, right? Some of us are probably yelling. Some of us are crying. Some of us are just slumped over, right? We all have a different reaction to something like that. So in the context of losing a job, in the context of being in a lockdown situation, going through those stages, the stages are the same, right? But we all react differently. We go through them differently. So anger, depression, sadness. Are you in any of those stages? And how can we help the root chakra tap into, let's say the third chakra, the solar plexus, sense of confidence, self-concept, self-esteem, to say that I got this. It's okay. We make a change, right? Okay, go ahead and slowly push your way back up. Set your prop aside for a moment. And then just draw the legs in so we can sit for a second. We need a restorative pose, don't we? So let's go ahead and grab the bolster or pillow or cushion, whatever you have, and send it out behind you vertically. I'm going to take something else, whatever you have. I'm going to use the blanket, but pillow, sweatshirt, even your blocks. This is going to go under my knees. I'm going to turn. Sit all the way back until you can feel your sacrum touch the bolster, unless you have low back issues that are really bothering you. Slide forward the width of a fist so the back has room to drop down. I'm going to get my other prop under my knees and then happily lay back. Close your eyes. Quick body scan. Does any part of your body want to move? Are you not comfortable? If this is too much of an arch to the low back and you've already moved forward, adding something under the head is very helpful. So you can grab your block and make that a pillow. Now with your eyes closed, be in that car. Can you feel the energy of everybody's heightened emotions? Whew, that's a lot. So the people who are angry are probably in bargaining mode. They might argue that, well, it's a long drive to Key West. We should just go. Something might change on the way there. Some people are going to say, well, okay, we're still going to Key West, but we're putting it off. We're going to go next week. So choices have to be made. That's as simple as it is. Choices have to be made. But we're all in the car, and we've all packed up all of our stuff. So maybe the choice is we're going somewhere else. So as Jennifer Del Corso writes this analogy, she chooses North Carolina. Everybody's going to go to North Carolina. Now, just because we made a choice does not mean everybody is now happy, right? Now we have some people who are like, I never wanted to go to North Carolina. But I really wanted to go to the beach in Key West. And so just because we've made a choice and we're moving on, there's still a sense of anger, sadness, depression, right? So think about that from the perspective of someone right now who's being laid off because businesses are closed. They might have to choose to take a job they don't really want or wouldn't normally pick. that job is North Carolina. Sorry if you live in North Carolina. This is just an example. Trust me, Illinois is at the bottom of this list. Yeah, and with the lockdown situation, this is definitely not what we would have chosen. There are many other things all of us would be choosing to do, even if that just involves going to work, or a job you aren't thrilled with. It would be anything. We would all be doing something totally different, right? So what happens in this anger, depression, sadness kind of stage is it really sinks in that we have no control. People don't like to hear that. People do not like to not have control. Yet you need to consider what you actually had control of before. Okay, you could say, well, I had control of leaving the house. I had control of where I was going. Sure. Right now you have control over keeping yourself and other people safe. See, it's just a shift. We're just looking at it from a little different perspective, right? It's just a shift. It's a choice in thinking. But it's that idea of losing control that has to be rebuilt. And the other issue with feeling like you don't have control, this could be over a myriad of things in your life, right? See, the problem with that is then we feel like the world is happening to us. Nobody wants things happening to them. Well, maybe if it's winning the lottery, that would be okay. We want to feel like the world is happening with us. And when we don't have this idea or sense that we actually have control, it feels like we are in victim mode. Victim mode is a tough place to hang out, right? Victim mode is kind of challenging to get out of because victim mode wants to hang on to blame, and this is all being done to me. So in a sense, yes, okay, maybe your lockdown is being done to you, but you are choosing to look at it that way. Does that make sense? Take control. What are the benefits of your situation? If you just lost your job, can we consider that maybe you're about to find something better, something you like even more, right? Take a deep breath where you're at. I know I left you in a restorative pose for a while. You're probably happy as a clam. All right, let's reach the arms overhead. I need to wake you guys back up. Stretch. And then bring the arms down, relax. I'm going to bend the knees. As I do so, my feet are pushing that blanket toward me so I can move that out of my way. Perfect. I'm going to reach the arms right up to the ceiling, tighten the core, draw the low back down, and let's slowly lift the head, the shoulders, and very carefully roll your way back up to a seated pose. And then we're going to move the props that are behind us. So flip back on over. Set up in table for a second here. And then bring the hips down to rest on the heels. Let's just make sure we all know what rabbit pose is for a moment, with the hands reaching for the heels. So my arms are going to reach back, grab onto my heels. I'm going to bring the top of my forehead down, and as I lift my hips, I roll onto the top of the head. I'm still hanging onto my heels. The tops of the feet have not left the ground, right? If reaching for the heels is super tough, like I do see that as a common mistake, that one might want to lift the feet up so they're closer. I'd rather you just reach your hands down alongside you if the heels have decided to be too far away today. So now that we know where we're heading in rabbit, go ahead, bring the hips back down. If you went into rabbit pose, perhaps you were just watching, sit back onto your heels. We're creating a vinyasa with rabbit. So on your inhale, you're going to come up onto your knees. Arms are going to reach out in front of you. Exhale, hips drop, arms drop. They're reaching for the heels. Head comes down. We're not even lifting the hips yet. Just stay right here. Okay, and we're going to add a breath because otherwise this is going to be too fast of a movement. We're going to get dizzy. So inhale, come up on the knees, send the arms forward. Stay here for the exhale. Inhale. Exhale, arms reach back, hips reach back. Forehead to the mat, just staying low. Inhale here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, come back down. This time we're going to go into rabbit, but stay here. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, roll onto the top of the head, stay right here. Now, of course, if you shouldn't be upside down, don't lift the hips, stay right where you are. When you get to an exhale, bring the hips back down. When you get to an inhale, slowly come back up. Just take the arms to the ceiling this time. Stay here for the exhale. Reach through the arms, take your gaze up. Inhale. Exhale, slowly come back down, staying in that first low position. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips into rabbit. Roll onto the top of the head. Keep breathing. When you get to an exhale, bring the hips back down. Inhale slowly, coming all the way up, reaching for the ceiling. Hold it here, exhale. Inhale, lengthen, look up. Exhale, last time we're coming down. Forehead to the earth, stay right there. Next exhale, lift the hips into rabbit. And then gently bring the hips back down. Reach the arms out in front of you. As you lift your head, perhaps you drop the elbows and the forearms. I just tried to combine those two words together, I don't know. And then slide forward, release the legs coming into Sphinx. And then just kind of look down, check out your alignment. If you have no back issues, the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, right? Arms are parallel, fingers are spread wide. The wrist crease is parallel to the front of the mat. One thing you could do if you have trouble keeping your arms parallel is put that block right between your arms and gently squeeze it if you want to. If you do have low back issues, we want to take the elbows out wider or more forward so that the low back doesn't feel pinched. Now close your eyes here. The other thing I want you to add is I want you to imagine that your forearms are pulling away from each other as though they were trying to rip your mat. So keep that tension up. Unless it's tough on your shoulders, you don't have to do it. Keep breathing. And then I'm going to relax the arms a little bit. I'm going to take the right arm and bring the forearm in front of me, so it's just pivoted horizontally across my mat. From here, my left hand's free to reach back and pull that left foot in. You can drop down off that front arm if this is too much on the back, right? Deepen the breath. Next, exhale. Gently let go. We're not switching to the other side. I'm going to plant my left hand for support, pull that left knee out for gecko, and make my way happily down. Close your eyes here. So we've made a decision. We're all in the car. We're packed. We're going to North Carolina. And once our initial grief has gone out the window as we travel down the highway, perhaps we then start to think about some of the things that North Carolina has to offer that we would not have been able to do in Key West. Maybe we get on Google. We're like searching. What can we do once we get there? Eventually, we begin to feel really good about our decision. You know, I'm glad we didn't go back in the house. I'm glad we didn't wait till next month. You know, we were all ready to go. We were all so happy. Perhaps it doesn't matter if the destination changed. So you see, what really changes in this stage is now we find a motivation to move beyond the loss. Let's go back to the job analogy. If you just recently got laid off and were totally blindsided by it, you probably aren't in the next, hour, next day, even able to get on your computer and get that resume out. You have to allow yourself to experience what you are feeling, right? But once we get to this last stage, there's more of an energy of, okay, I can do this, right? It's motivation. It re-enters our force and helps us move forward. So as far as the lockdown situation is concerned, where could you tap into a new sense of motivation, an undiscovered sense of motivation? I mean, we can stay status quo. We can go day by day, mark it off on a calendar, look forward just to getting in bed so another day will be over. Or we can find something else to do with our time, something you never would have done before. You take back, here comes that C word, you take back control. All right, we're going to stretch out that left leg coming out of gecko. I'm going to slowly re-perch myself on my elbows and forearms in Sphinx. Look down, are the arms parallel, are the fingers spread wide, traction forward, lift that heart, close your eyes. Feel the arms pulling away from each other. They want to tear your mat down the center. And then when you're ready, release that tension in the forearms. Pivot the left forearm across you so that the right hand can reach back to find the right foot. And again, if you need to, absolutely drop down. Deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly let go of that right leg, but keep it bent because we're pulling it out to the right side in our hip opening gecko pose, resettling the upper body and closing the eyes. Once we get back our motivation, feel like we're in control of something here, then we have perspective. Then we are able to look backwards and go, well, okay, how did I end up in that situation? And what could I've done differently moving forward? Or, if something like that arises in the future, what are my steps? And, I kind of think for those of us who might be stuck in the lockdown, woe is me mode, what happens when, I'm not going to say life gets back to normal. I think it's going to be something completely different. But, when everything reopens and you've been in that victim mode the whole time, I'm just kind of asking you to consider what flip is going to be switched. Where are you ending up, right? We have time right now to start processing this and figuring it out so that there is this beautiful constant river-like flow as things open up and change. In fact, I want you to visualize a river for a moment. Let's make it kind of narrow, but the water's moving quickly. And as you imagine, you just kind of throw a raft into the water and jump on top, you're completely safe. You get swept downstream. But I want you to picture that the further you go, the more the banks of the river open up. They get wider. So we can see more, we understand more choices before us, yeah? And then gradually feel the water slowing down. What I love about the analogy of a river is that the water always knows where it's going. You see, the river gives up control. It doesn't have to know where it's going to end up. It just goes. And that is what we need to apply to our current situation. It's a fabulous one no matter what's going on. Take a deep breath where you are and let it go. Go ahead and straighten out that right leg. And from here, let's plant the hands and find Cobra, Bhujangasana. Just play around in Cobra for a second. Remember, I really want you to watch two things since I can't see you. We're not locking the arms in Cobra, and the shoulders do not hold up the head, right? Everything's back and down, soft elbows. Okay, deep inhale here. Exhale, let's slowly come back down and push back into child's pose. Really stretch through the arms, spread out the fingers, grip your mat, and gently round your back as you come up into table, straightening out the legs so they're hip distance apart, drawing those wrists back underneath the shoulders. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog, where we're going to walk this out again. Ah, perfect. So I'm going to walk the feet forward halfway. I just want to end up in the middle of my mat. Cross one leg in front of the other. Gently sit down. I need some props. Okay. If you have them. Bolster, block, blanket, strap. If you don't have a bolster, as we've said many times before, cushion, pillow, anything. What I want this to kind of look like out in front of me is my bolster being propped up on my block at medium height. So whatever you have that simulates that, if you don't have anything, just grab a couple books so your feet can be propped up on top of them. Okay, that blanket. I'm gonna get that ready to be a neck roll. So actually, I'm gonna roll from the long edge so it's not so thick. So that's obviously going out behind me, right? grab your strap. Now, if you don't have a strap, this is the least important prop that we're going to use. I want to thread that underneath my bolster. And then I'm going to set it up to have a loop. So again, if you don't have a strap, all you're going to do is cross one ankle over the other. That's going to keep your legs in place. So I want to get as close to my bolster as I can. Remember, I think in our last class we did one leg at a time up the bolster. This time it's both of them. I'm going to send my legs up, and then I'm going to tighten that strap so I don't feel like I have to work at all to keep my legs there. Okay, once you have that, that might take a moment. Go ahead, lay back. Oh, get that neck roll. Position perfectly under your neck. Close your eyes, let go. Oh, we're all going to end up here at a different time, perhaps. So when you lay back, strong inhale through the nose, super loud exhale. So I like the Key West analogy because it makes it very easy to break down the stages. We can relate to that, right? We can feel that sense of disappointment, and then, okay, we're going to do this instead, and then we get happy again. I think the word that we need that might apply to all of those is acceptance. Acceptance of where we are. We're all at different stages at different times. So we have to be compassionate of that, but towards ourselves, we have to accept that it's okay that today I'm angry. It might just have to be that way. But tomorrow, perhaps, I choose to let that go. So just think about what's going on in your world and how that all applies, right? What stage are you at? What are you struggling most with? Can you let go of the sense that you have to have control? Can we self-nurture the solar plexus instead, so it doesn't feel like it has to grip onto everything? Can we just let go, accept, and be? Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, completely relax the legs. And then notice, had you not already? I don't know, there's this tendency, I think, I do it all the time. There's this tendency to ensure that the muscles are hanging on just in case. That's that control thing. Soften the legs. Let them trust the strap. If you have an ankle crossed over the other, you don't have to worry. Your legs aren't going anywhere. Let the hips feel heavy. Take your focus to the parts of the spine you feel touching the mat. Soften the back of the neck. Is the neck trying to hang on to control as well? Is it trying to hold your head in place? Relax. And then wiggle the fingers and bring them back to stillness. Everything softening, at the same time growing heavy, releasing control, accepting what is. And so as we accept what is, we need to acknowledge this pose might be a challenge to get out of if you have your strap bound around your legs. So let me offer some ideas. Perhaps you'll come up with your own. My strap, I can feel, is loose enough to slide one foot out and then the other. If you are in super tight, you might have to get the elbows down to then push your way up and free the legs. Perfect. I'm still going to stay down on my back, but you want those legs to find their freedom. And then we're going to hug the knees in. Go ahead and gently rock it out from side to side. And then go ahead and spill over to one side in the fetal position. We need to make our way back up so that we do have control over where we choose, another C word, to put our props for Shavasana, right? So when you're ready, slowly make your way back up and set up those props the way you want them for corpse pose. Give you a minute to get settled in there. Make sure every part of the body is supported. And when you're ready, I'm sure if you're ready, you already have your eyes closed, but if you haven't closed them, please do so. Deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. Big exhale. And allowing my words to be yours as you settle into Shavasana and drift off to somewhere fabulous. I let go of control. I release it. I release my attachments. But most importantly, I'm okay with that. I release my control, and I am okay with that. Feel the body letting go. Especially allow your mind to be at peace. I am okay with allowing my mind to just float in this place of stillness. I release my attachments for the moment to thoughts, to things that I need to take care of, to things I think I need to take care of. Just for a moment, I release the stages of denial, depression, anger, sadness, if I am currently in them. I offer compassion and love to my heart center, knowing that eventually we all end up in a place called acceptance. I'll come back and get you. Begin to bring your focus back to your breath. And invite some gentle movement into the hands and the feet. When you're ready, just slowly roll onto whichever side is calling to you and tuck into a fetal position. When you're ready, you'll just slowly push your way back up into any seated pose, keeping the eyes gently shut. We're going to draw the shoulders up. Exhale back and down. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And then very slowly roll the head around, dropping it forward to the other side. And then bring the head back up. Strong inhale through the nose. Really loud exhale. Float the arms up with your next breath. Bring the palms together. And then release them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.